Hello and welcome, Thrivers. How are you guys doing out there? I hope everybody's good in LinkedIn world, YouTube world, wherever you are. Today we're here with a very, very special guest. It's Euris Rivas. Euris is a leader of an organization called Upcasa, and he's also a client. And I have to say, from my own personal experience, it's rare in life that you get to work with leaders that are extraordinary. And Euris is an extraordinary leader. He's an extraordinary human being and has really taken the organization and doubled it in size in less than 2 years and has done really amazing things in terms of growing his team, training his team, and his commitment to growth. They went from 6 people to 18 people in about 2 years, and it was just really phenomenal. So with that said, here he goes. Hey, Euris, welcome to Knowing Your Network.
Thank you, Joe. It's an honor to be here. I've enjoyed working with you for the past few years, and continue to enjoy working with you. And hopefully, we'll continue to rock and roll for many, many years.
Excellent. I'm very excited about that, and really seeing your leadership grow and the team's leadership grow. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask the question that I ask everybody who comes on Knowing Your Network, which is, what is the problem that you solve?
Well, the problem that I solve, or that we solve here at Upcasa, is that we see a lot of the small businesses that are disappearing. And the reason they do so is because they fail to evolve and change. I mean, if you look at companies that have stood the test of time, you'll notice that whatever they were doing many, many years ago is not the same thing that they're doing now. Look at one great example that I always have is Samsung. You think of the company Samsung now, which is a multinational company, very big company. And if you go back through their history, they started out selling noodles. And now they're doing phones, they're doing TVs, electronics. So you would never think about that. There are many companies like Microsoft, which started out in software, and now the majority of their money comes from gaming. So that's what happens with a lot of businesses that do disappear. If you think about Blockbuster, should have been Netflix at this point, but they're not, and they disappeared because they didn't evolve and they didn't change. So
yeah, they missed that pivot opportunity.
Exactly. So that's the problem that we're trying to solve. How do we bring that down to every business, to small businesses in our communities, and how do we empower them to grow and to evolve through technology so that they don't disappear, so that they can continue to thrive in the new world?
Good. And you've kind of started to address this, but specifically, who is it that you work with? Who's your target audience? What are the clients that you're looking for?
Well, we'll work with small businesses, in the New York City area. We're seeing now that about 5 years ago, we started to see a great boom in businesses in our community, in the Latin Spanish community, in the Bronx area, Manhattan, Brooklyn, Queens. So there are a lot of businesses that are Latin-owned, Spanish-owned, that don't have the help and they don't have the resources. We're kind of 10 years behind when it comes to technology. So that's who we're targeting, and that's who we've been able to help and why we've been able to grow so fast, because we're able to talk to them in their language. We know their culture. We're immigrants like they are, and we're able to help them, and we navigate the technology world. So we're able to bring all this technology and apply it to their businesses for success. So that's mainly who we're focusing
on. That's awesome. So good. And can you give me an example of a client success that you've created over the last, 90, 100 days or this year, something that's happened that's really transformed a client?
Well, I mean, we don't have to go very far with this pandemic that we have going on. A lot of our clients are able to remain operational and open because of the technology that we've brought to them. I mean, we have some clients that are in the medical transportation field, and they couldn't close down. They had to remain open because they are considered essential services. But the city came into their office and said, "Hey, you guys need to close because you had a positive COVID-19 case." So on one side, they're being told you need to remain operational. On the other side, they're being told you can't come into the office. So what we were able to do, utilizing technology, was to allow them to work remotely, to work from home, by allowing them access to the tools and the systems that they needed to be able to answer the phone calls and coordinate via the phone. And that would have been the difference between them just having to shut down and actually continuing to work and provide a service as much needed in this time. Another quick example, and I have many, mostly all of our clients, is we have a credit union who's trying to get these loans out to their small businesses so that they can continue to survive and thrive, and which again much needed now. And again, same thing, they can't come into the office, and that's a little bit more complicated because when you're processing a loan, there's a lot of departments, a lot of people that are involved. So through our collaboration tools that we had set up for them, they're able to get everybody involved that needs to be involved in the loan, and everybody's working remotely. Everybody gets their part of the job done, and they can come together to get these loans approved and get these small businesses going. So those are two the many successes that we've had by applying technologies, again, that corporations are using into the small business world.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So it's good. People out there get to know who you are. So now the question that I have for you is, what are you curious about right now? What are you working on? What are you thinking about? What books are you reading? What's going on?
Well, what I'm curious about is, I'm going to tell you, because I've been curious about this for a long time. I'm going to tell you a little story about how I began and got, involved in this whole computer and technology world. So, when I was about maybe 14, 15, I sold my first computer. I said, I'm an immigrant. That's about what the age that I came to the United States. And I said, being the determined person that I am, I said, I got to get my hands on a computer. So I had a job delivering pizzas. So I saved my money and I bought my first computer. And actually, I didn't buy the computer. I got enough money and I bought the parts to put the computer together. And so I figured out how to put it together. And now remember, back then, there was no YouTube, there was no Google. So I really had to figure out how to do it. And so I finally put it together. I installed the operating system, Windows 95. Then I sat in front of the computer and I said, what do I do now? I said, well, I didn't know what to do. So I said, I know what the problem is. I have no software on the computer. I got to get some programs in so that I have something to do on the computer. So I went and I researched. So I got I got the Microsoft Office suite and the Corel suite. And I loaded that stuff onto the computer and, tested it. Everything was working great. And I go, okay, you know what I need? What I really need is a printer because I can't really do anything without the printer. So I went, my next paycheck, I got a printer, set it up. Everything was great. Then I sat in front of the computer and what did I say? I said, Joe, I have nothing to print. And so what I realized was that technology, and when we say technology now, we talk about computers, which have evolved into many different devices, right? You have phones, you have your thermostat at home, whatever it is, that's all. Those are all the devices that are all computers. And then you have software, which have evolved into services. You think about, the cloud, your different softwares that you use to run your business. Those are all now services. And again, what I realize is that as great as these things are, if you don't really achieve a result through them, if you don't need them to achieve a goal, they're really useless. So what I've been curious about is, how do you apply technology? How do you use technology as a vehicle, especially to transform and evolve like these other companies have done it? How do you achieve results for your business through technology? And that's what I go to work on every day.
Awesome. So that's what you're curious about. So how do they get in touch with you?
It's really simple. So we have our website, which is apcasa.com. I'm sure you'll put a link up somewhere. Again, you can go.
There will be right under the video.
That's great. So apcasa.com, you can go in there, read about what we do, read about our services, and right in there you can see how to get in touch with us. You can give us a call. Our phone number is right on there, and our contact information. So just check out our website. Everything is there.
Awesome. Euris, I can't thank you enough for being with us here today and for really letting us know who you are and what you're all about. And I look forward to working with you for the next few